What up? What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of Total Nonstop Blunts, episode number 7. I am your boy, True Hill Ness, aka Skinny Kravitz, here to make your acquaintance. Don't think the good brother Chris G will be joining us tonight, which is fine because I've been inactive for quite some time, trying to get back in the flow of things. But we might have a special, very special guest joining us. It is their birthday, so I'm not gonna put a time limit, whenever they get here. They might be celebrating their birthday, or they just might be doing a little bit extra. It might be all birthdayed out, but when they get here, you will know. If you're watching this on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for all your wrestling news, entertainment. Share this video with your wrestling family and friends. And once again, please subscribe if you are new. If you're watching this on Twitch, please drop a like and subscribe to our Twitch at twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Gaming. If you're watching this on Facebook, X, drop a like, react, sad emoji, heart emoji, angry emoji, anything of the sort. Just interact. Just interact with us. It's greatly appreciated. We are kicking off this episode of TNA with, I think his dude's name was Leon Slater, and he's going against the one and only Chris Bay. Oh, wait a minute. And here's Alan Angels. So it might be a little bit of something else going on here. It might be like a four-way. I don't know. I got my volume down. But speaking of which, speak of the devil, it is a very special day within the True Hill Heat camp. Want to say a very, very happy birthday to the good brother. Thank you for joining me once again this week on Total Nonstop Blunts. The one, the only, the True Draw Josh.
Yeah, what's up? Thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you for joining me again. I hope your birthday was everything you enjoyed and wanted it to be. And hopefully this.
I mean, it was just at work. I was just at work. Honestly, that's all it was.
Everybody's, and once you get a certain age, everybody's like, "Oh, how was your birthday?" I'm like, "It's all right." Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna celebrate it. We're gonna celebrate it this weekend. I'm off. I'm off Saturday, so we're gonna celebrate it. And then Sunday, I'm heading to a sports convention. So it's gonna be a busy weekend.
Nice. You deserve it, man. Enjoy it.
Thank you. See what's going on tonight in Impact.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to that too. I'm not even gonna lie. When I'm talking about the show, or just talking about the promotion itself, I have to like slow down and not say Impact. I'm so used to saying Impact.
That's funny, yo. He was wearing the same suit when I met him, Mustafa Ali.
Just like those politicians.
Yeah, man. He pulled up like he didn't even change the night. He pulled up in the suit and everything.
Came out with the Secret Service.
Nah, that would have been dope. If he would have had the Secret Service, yo, that would have been like, damn. Like he brought the title. I got to meet him with the title, so that was dope.
Yeah, that's dope. I like how I feel like he's been, well, for the past couple of weeks, he's been like the focus of the show, more so out of like Moose, who's the actual TNA World Champion. I mean, that's good though. They have that variety that it doesn't always have to be focused on, the quote unquote main eventer or the top spot, spot.
Yeah, and I like it. And I think they're doing him a favor because from what I understand, I don't think he's officially signed.
Oh,
I think I could be wrong because I didn't. Usually, when they sign people, they usually post up graphics and all this stuff.
yeah,
I didn't see a graphic for him, but also doesn't mean they didn't sign him. But I haven't
right.
seen nothing. Like I haven't seen nothing significant that confirms that he's signed with the company. So by them like making him look good and promoting him and presenting him well, that's kind of like the selling point. So like, hey, we're doing this for you.
Yeah, yeah. You want to sign this contract for us, you know?
Yeah. So I think that's a smart move on their end. I think TNA is a good spot for him because like regardless of like if I want him in AEW, it's just there's too much going on in AEW, a lot of main eventers that I won't feel confident that he'll get the push like he is now.
Right. No, yeah,
So
that's true. That's very true.
that's why I think Macklin. That's why I think Macklin should resign with TNA just because like I know his wife is in AEW, but I think he probably needs like more time.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. So the next thing you know, he'll be like, I don't even know if there's still a thing in AEW or ROH. The workhorseman. He'll be like one of those guys.
Oh no, they still are, but they kind of like I know they've shown up at Collision a few times.
Yeah, like that'll be his. Like that's probably what
Like
I'll have with that.
yeah, like JD Drake. I forgot he had a match like a while ago, which I thought it was gonna be like a squash match, and it actually got time. I think it was it Danielson he faced? He faced somebody, and he got like a good amount of time in the match. I was surprised. I was like, what the fuck? Okay.
So I'm going to assume that this match is for because I have my volume down, so I can't hear commentary. I might need to put on my closed caption. So I'm going to assume that this is a number one contender slot for the X Division title.
Oh, it could be. Because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
If he's there, I think it might
yeah, I
be.
figured that. Yeah, he's out there on commentary. That's probably what it's for. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Now it's on commercial. I forgot they don't do the picture in picture.
Nah, I mean they do sometimes, but it's nah. They don't do it as much, I don't think. Or when they do it, I think it's like more so in the second hour. Was Chris on with you last night for Elite Heat?
He was on for Dynamite. He wasn't on for Rampage. He had a bounce. So
Okay.
I finished the stream because like honestly, when we got on for Elite Heat, that's when I remembered. I was like, oh shit, like Rampage is on next. So then
it was 3 hours last night. Damn.
yeah, so then what happened was that like when he was asking me if I was gonna stay on, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm already like here, so might as
Right.
well. And then yeah, that's what happened. So
Yeah, like well, because I remember you saying you were going to be on, or you wanted to be on tonight from last week. So you reminded me this week. It was just like a confirmation, but like, he didn't say anything. So I was like, oh yeah, we got it under control. And, just in case he doesn't show up, like it'll be all right. I mean, I was going to do it regardless, but
yeah, because Chris said no, because Chris said yesterday he wasn't gonna be on. So I was like, I ain't doing nothing. I'll probably jump on.
Yeah. Just waiting for the Will Chisholm effect to hit.
Hopefully he burn all that out during AEW Ramble.
Between him and Hussein or Hassan,
he should start donating for every time he gets a name wrong.
So the pick that was sent to our chat, was he trying to say Takeshita and he ended up saying Takahashi?
Yes. You should have seen Romeo in the live chat because he was in the chat. Yo, he was every time he fucked up a name, yo, Romeo was like,
oh man,
Romeo was giving it to him. And it's crazy because like the first like maybe hour, he was getting the names right. And then the moment that Romeo mentioned it, he was like, oh, this dude is on fire. The moment he mentioned it, all of a sudden, like the moment he mentioned it, all of a sudden he started messing up.
Like, don't acknowledge it, don't acknowledge it, don't acknowledge it, acknowledge it. I'm gonna fuck it up.
Shit just went downhill after that.
It's all a part.
But then when he promotes like random games and random stuff, he gets all that shit right.
Oh, the spell check works then, huh?
Magically works when it happens. I was like, what the fuck? No, but that Takahashi shit, oh my god. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Because it was like, bro, like you got the fucking wrong person. Like how you spell the name right and got the wrong person.
Well, there you go. Spelled the name right, but it was the wrong person. So he's like, you only get one or the other. Can't be both.
Yeah, then he said Sweeve. He said Sweeve Strickland. He said Sweeve. He said Sweeve. Who else? He said Sweeve. He said Sweeve. He said, who else did he say? I'm trying to remember what names, but yo, he started fucking up. I was like, come on, bro. Like now you're just doing this shit on purpose. Oh, Willow Nightingale, he said Nightgale.
That actually might have to give him a pass for that one. At least he got like that, at least that much of it right.
I don't know. He ain't getting no pass from me. I already said it. I was like, every time he fuck up, he ain't getting no pass. It's been too much that to give him a pass, especially like yesterday. Like yo, like when he said, "Well, oats bread." Yo,
that's going down in the Hall of Fame of botches, I guess, if you want to call it. If there's a Hall of Fame for it.
Oh, definitely. And then Romeo was mocking him too. So when he was getting the names right, like Romeo was getting the names wrong on purpose. He was like, I vote for, like, he was like fucking around.
So yeah, everybody in this match. We got Jake something, Alan Angels, Chris Bay, Jason Hotch, Kevin Knight. I believe this guy's name was Leon Slater.
Then the laziest, and then the laziest name, Jake something.
Yeah. Just something.
It's like, bro, like that's your fucking name. Wasn't he like cousin Jake?
Yeah, he was cousin Jake for a while with fucking Diener, Cody Diener. I almost forgot his first name.
He's not very good at choosing names, apparently.
Yeah, there's only one Cody in wrestling that anybody's worried about. Damn sure ain't Diener.
Shit, and next weekend I gotta buy tickets for Godzilla X Kong. I gotta watch that.
Oh yeah, what day? You know when that comes out officially? I forgot what day it was.
Next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay.
I got a gift card from AMC that I'm gonna use.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I would. X Division is alive and well. Just everybody just fucking flying all over the place.
It's like yesterday. So like, did you watch Dynamite yesterday?
I saw some of it. I didn't see the whole show.
Yeah. So yesterday they kind of, they started it. They opened up with Mercedes. They opened it up with her, and then she does like the promos and stuff like that, right? So then Dave gave like his thoughts on it. He's like how it's coming off like too WWE and shit. About like the promos and the shit they've been doing, like the segments. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, weren't you guys complaining that they weren't being like WWE? And now you're saying they're being too much like WWE. It's like, which one is it? Like, what the fuck do you want?
They don't know. That's the problem. They don't.
And it's like with Mercedes, it's like it's like this is the reason why they got her though. Like because they know she's good when she talks. She's really good. They got the whole package. So why would they do anything different with her? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, they're so focused on that. But then it's like, okay, WWE has had Jade Cargill for how many months now?
Man, listen.
And where is she? Like where? But that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like she's been gone since what, September?
Yeah.
Right. They signed her like a week fucking after, and then she's had one match. That was a Royal Rumble match. It wasn't even a one-on-one match. It was a Royal Rumble match, and you haven't seen her since. Like, but yeah. Oh. Mercedes doing promos, oh, that it's too much like WWE. What the fuck?
So that's the one thing I noticed that well, pertaining to Jade Cargill, I believe her, like, she got like some like personal shit going on. I believe I heard that her mom passed like sometime like towards the end of last year, something like that, which, not slighting that, but like you said, she's been with the company since September, showed up on TV a few times, like backstage segments or whatever. Was in the Royal Rumble back in January. And then ever since then, everybody knows like she's training. Oh, she's not ready. She's this, that, and the third. Like she was on TV for like wrestling for 2 years. You're saying she's not ready. All right.
She's more ready than Maxine, and yet they're here they are pushing a stupid storyline with Maxine. Like
exactly. And I just see, what it is. It's just the people that they make excuses because it's WWE.
Oh no, it happened. I mean, it happened. Yeah. Like when me and Sid talked about it like 2 weeks ago, I brought up the situation, right? Because the whole Maxine thing happened. When I brought it up, I was just like, like you have somebody like Jade Cargill who's been with the company, who has experience, yet they don't use her because she's not ready.
Quote unquote.
But yet you have somebody who's not ready and you've been using her in matches. So people were like defending her. People were just like, oh, well, they're taking their time. And I'm like, bro, it's been like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, the guy with the worst name won.
The one guy that doesn't look like he's in the X division. Just it's
definitely
the X division title.
Didn't they kind of like scrap that though? Like, didn't they did that? Didn't they scrap it like years ago?
Yeah. Like it's pretty much like I don't want to call it the open weight championship because it got way more prestige than that, but that's pretty much what it is.
I don't know. The open weight title is like confusing to me because it's like it's just there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like it's just there.
What the fuck is going on here? They're making them eat dog food and cat food. What the fuck?
What's going on?
This is the most random pairing of people.
What is
It's
going on?
it's just fucking random and shit. It's like Russian Batista.
He's that Russian Batista.
That's the vibes I get from him. Speaking of Alex Shelley, you've seen he's trying to trademark some of the Motor City Machine Gun trademarks. I don't know how that's gonna work with TNA.
Well, it depends because Motor City Machine Guns, like, was that a TNA created thing? Like,
True. Is I don't know. I'm
because
just so used to it being a TNA thing.
yeah,
Not
because it's just
yeah.
that it depends because when the whole thing with Broken Matt happened, remember Broken Matt Hardy when that whole
Yeah.
thing happened? Remember, like they're in a lawsuit between them two to
Hmm.
for him to get the rights to his character. You know, Impact felt like they created it because it was on their platform. And then, but Matt apparently had proof that he's the one that pitched the ideas. He came up with the gimmick. He came up with a lot of things. He paid out of pocket for a lot of stuff that they did. And then once they went to WWE, the uphill battle that Impact had at the time was that WWE was gonna help the Hardys with the with the lawsuit. So what ended up happening was that Impact ended up dropping. They ended up dropping suit like months later, like towards the end of the year. They ended up dropping suit. So that's how Matt got his he got his trademark. He got his rights back. And then from there, that's when Impact said like a lot of the all the rest basically like they're allowed to keep like their trademark. They're allowed to keep everything. So like EC3 was able to keep EC3, like all that stuff. So it became like this whole big thing. It became like this big, this big, this whirlwind because of that.
Well, they weren't making. They weren't going to make any money off the EC3 trademark anyway. Once he's not even making any money off the EC3 trademark. I don't think not as much as he was when he was there.
Yeah, unless there's like diehard AEW NWA fans that love him because isn't he like their champion?
All MAGA wrestling fans and shit.
Oh, shit. No, you know what's funny though? He wasn't. It wasn't more so him that was like MAGA. It was the people he was surrounding himself with. That was the issue people had. Like that whole create your narrative thing happened.
Yeah, debacle.
A lot of this stuff I would say firsthand because I actually like EC3. Like I met him before. I even got him to one of the gyms in the Bronx when he came to wrestle. I got him as like a 1-day pass for Blink Fitness, right? Really nice guy. I've never had an issue with EC3. I think one of the misconceptions when it comes to like what he was trying to do was that, he had a certain vision that just you could say it came off like it wasn't executed properly. And I could even say that just because of like the day and age that we live in wrestling. So, for example, he had like a list of banned moves, right? You couldn't do the Canadian Destroyer. You couldn't do super kicks. You couldn't do I think suicide dives you couldn't do. So when that got brought up, he was talking about like how the reason why he banned those moves is because again, they're so popular and they're so overused that it doesn't mean anything. So with create your narrative, if you use it, basically you get disqualified. So that was their way of telling the story of like you can't use it, but then like when the ref turns around and shit, they could do the move. Like he was telling the story with that. And then when they finally did it, it meant something. So if somebody did Canadian Destroyer, they were hype over it because they're like, oh shit, we weren't supposed to see this move and now we've seen it. So that's what he was going with, which I thought it was a genius idea. Like I like that I legit like that, but it just wasn't executed properly. Because people, when he started getting people certain, involved, like he got Braun Strowman involved, that rubbed people the wrong way. Probably the biggest one was Austin Aries. Like that was probably
I used to be a huge Austin Aries fan. That fucking downward slope of shit, man. This is bad. So
yeah. Yeah, it's weird because like again, he's another guy. Like again, I've met him and I've never had problems with Austin Aries. I've always had like good conversations with him. But like again, his views rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really do himself any favors based off of that.
Oh, he'll double down, triple.
Oh yeah.
Down.
Which in a way, I respect it because I was like, hey, at least he ain't kissing ass. But it's just, I think that's what it is too. It's like realistically, it's like, yeah, yeah, he's an asshole and he has like views that you don't agree with, but it's like, what is he really doing to people? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's
We're
okay.
just, yeah, like that's why I think we're more in the age when it comes to shit like that. It's just weird, but I mean, I get it. I'm not trying to defend the man because I do get it, and he always burns his bridges wherever he goes. That's a thing. It's not like it's made up. It's a real thing. So I get it. Um, I know there was other people involved. I know like Cross was involved before, before he went back to WWE.
Yeah.
He got rehired. He's like, hey, you want your job back? Don't worry, we're gonna sign Fat Shield.
Which, for whatever reason, these guys have. Well, as much as I get to see of highlights from SmackDown, they been whooping on the fucking what they call themselves, the Pride, or the Street Profits, and Bobby Lashley. And still, like the crowd goes mild, so it don't even matter.
Yeah, out of all names, Nick, you could have called yourself Street Business.
Perfect. Would have been fucking perfect.
You could have called yourself Street Business, and instead you decided to just call yourself something that they have every June. Um,
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
The
Which is
Juneteenth
fine.
Avengers.
Hey, I'm not saying nothing. I don't mind that. If you happy, you happy. I respect that.
Yeah.
That's not where I'm going with that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot these guys are here. Grizzly
Yeah.
Young.
Diener out here cutting some type of emotional promo,
He's like,
only to be cut off by the grizzled young vets.
AKA Schism.
Oh man, don't remind me of that shit. I still don't understand why they even did that to those guys. Oh, you want to leave? Nah, you can't leave. We'll put you in this dumbass group with Joe Gacy. Make Zach Gibson shave his fucking
You know what's the
beard.
problem? Yeah, because like when it came to that shit, I was like, what the fuck? Like, these guys are like badasses and they're workers. Why are you putting them in some shit like this? And my thing is that I wasn't against the whole thing with Joe Gacy. I just think that they're trying to do like the WWE version of what he was doing in the indie scene, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, not everything translates over well, and the irony of that is they try not well for a while they were trying not to do things that people did on the indies because it's not gonna resonate well with our core audience, just to fucking give them something way worse that didn't resonate with the audience, and then you're blaming the talent because people don't like the dumbass shit that you came up with. Like,
Yeah, because Shawn Michaels doing dumb shit.
no, yeah,
He's doing shit that he thinks it's good because, again, Shawn Michaels is booking. He's trying to do shit that he did that worked for him back in the day. Yeah. That's what he bases his booking off of. Now, is that good or bad? I think it's more bad than good because it kind of just shows how your attention span goes, in my opinion, when it comes to booking. Yeah. There's a lot of shit that he does. It's a lot of corny shit in NXT. Every time I'm seeing clips or trying to like, it's just like, I get his character development, but there's a lot of shit that is just like so bad. Like every time they're trying to be funny, it's just bad. Like it's bad stuff. And then, like the whole Carmelo stuff, like he legit tried to rip off like the barbershop stuff. Like the jacket and everything. It was just like, okay, bro, like we get it. Like we get it, HBK. But then you got shit like that, like the whole shit with Gacy. Like, why was that a fucking thing? Like, why did that have to happen? Like, why did that stable have to happen? And I have nothing against Joe Gacy. I love Joe Gacy. I thought his stuff in the indie scenes was great. Like, his matches were great. and then you put him in a platform like this, and you want him to do like stuff that you guys want, with a mixture of what he's done, clearly doesn't work. You know, you even paired him with The Rock's daughter, and then she was so bad, she became a GM.
Nepotism.
I'm just calling it like it is.
Yeah, none of that made sense. It was trying to punish these guys. I don't know. Grizzled young vets jump Diener only to be saved by the time splitters, Alex Shelley and Kushida, to get this tag team match underway.
That's what they call the time splitters?
Yeah, from the time in New Japan.
Oh. Oh, yeah, because I remember they were attacked. Yeah, that's right.
Which I'm not even going to lie, I'm kind of confused now because are they still what, like, the motor machine gun splitters? I got a tag team within a tag team. Shit, I don't even know if Kushida and Kevin Knight are still a tag team. I haven't seen them together.
What's going on? Like, what's this about?
This might be short-lived then.
Yeah, because Kushida and Shelley don't seem like they're on the same page.
They both were like, "Oh, I'm going back to my other tag team partner."
They're like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah. Oh man, Alex, you are TNA World Champion. You changed.
I wonder if Romeo's watching. Romeo, you out there?
I feel like if he is watching, it definitely would be for the Grizzled Young Vets.
I'm asking him a question. Yo, Romeo, have you seen Back to the Future?
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Let me see if it responds. Let me see if we get to. Let me see if I get a response. Hmm.
Oh, here we go. The picture in picture. I figured they wouldn't do that too.
Oh shit! Look.
Thought they wouldn't do that till about 9 o'clock.
Shit, talk about missed opportunity, man. NXT had Kushida. Look, they did nothing with that man there.
Bruh, oh my god, that was the worst fucking signing of all time. I wouldn't say that. That was no, all right, I exaggerated, but they made a big deal. He came in, he was hot for like a couple weeks, and then it just went fucking downhill after that. Which, you know, you guys like I feel like new signers, they don't have to go on these like crazy dominant, you know, win streaks. I feel like he might have had like an early loss, which I didn't, you know, that don't bother me, but it was just like after that, they don't know what the hell to do with him. It was just
it was funny because somebody posted on Twitter like they were hype about so apparently the reports is that Nikita Lyons she might come back around October. So like somebody got hype over it. Somebody was just like, the fuck you hype about? She's injured again.
Bruh, her, Cora Jade.
She just came back.
Like, what the fuck are y'all doing over there?
And then Cora Jade, I mean, that was terrible. That was terrible timing again.
Yeah. Like you literally just came back.
That was horrible timing. They must be doing something wrong in NXT.
Well, I'll give Cora this. She has at least her character down. As far as Nikita Lyons, like I'm not one to tell people what they should do with their lives, but maybe this might not be for you. Like it might not.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it might not. I don't know. This is like, I don't know what, like her third or fourth injury.
Yeah, I want to say, I know it's her second major one.
Yeah. So it's just like, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like she doesn't like not really wants to be a wrestler, but wants the notoriety. Just seeing like how much other shit that she was doing before she was like came to WWE.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and I feel like it's a lot of people on the roster are like that.
That's how, to be honest with you, that's how I kind of feel about Jade Cargill.
Oh yeah, but she'll flat out say it though. I feel like
like with me, like when it comes to Jade, I felt like that even with AEW. Like I felt like wrestling is not like really. It's not like what she wants to do for the rest of her life. I think it's a stepping stone. Yeah. So when people are saying like, oh, like the AEW was a stepping stone for her to go into WWE, I was like, no, I think the wrestling business is a stepping stone, period.
Yeah.
Because I don't see her for doing it for that long. And then, you know, even that, I mean, she's athletic, but you could tell like she's not that great in the ring. Like, it was good for what she was doing, especially for somebody who's a beginner, and you know the way that she picked it up, that's good stuff. But if you're telling me like if I had to compare a real worker compared to her, I mean, there's no comparison when it comes to that. But she looks like a superhero. Like she's presentable and she looks like a superhero. It's just now it's a matter of like we're less than a month away from Mania, and she's not gonna have a match at WrestleMania. And if they have her in an Andre, what is it at that women's battle?
Yeah, they renamed it. Wait, the Fabulous Moolah. No more. Was it? No, I forgot what they call it. If they call it anything,
they call it something else now. But like if they put her in that garbage and then she wins it, it's like what the fuck is this?
I feel like people would just accept that.
No, that's a problem though. Like if you accept that, like if you accept that, then that's a problem. But you know how WWE fans are; they're gonna accept it because it's, oh my god, our favorite one. Like, oh my god, like remember that shit happened with LA Knight where what was it? He won some kind of bullshit battle royal that he got like nothing out of it. Everyone was like hype and excited. It was just like the fuck you guys are excited for. He didn't get nothing. There's nothing in this match. Like, there's nothing there. I think it was like, was it the Slim Jim Battle Royal or some shit?
I was gonna say, yeah. Then he got to be the face of Slim Jim, only because he says, yeah, like Macho Man says, oh yeah.
But then they implemented Bianca in that too. Like it's him and
Yeah.
Bianca. So it was like, what's the point of this?
Oh man.
But a shit like that, it's like, you know, like even when I talk about WrestleMania in general, like the matches, like somebody that I have on Facebook, he was because I think they're doing Ray and Escobar on SmackDown, right? So somebody mentioned like, oh, that match should have been in WrestleMania, right? It's just fine. Like you have your opinion, that's fine. But what people got to realize is what makes sense business wise. Ray versus Escobar, yeah, on paper it sounds great, but there's no substance behind it.
No, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
There's no substance behind it. Like last year, right? Last year you had the Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio storyline, right? Which he had a great build up. And the whole concept and the whole thing was that Ray didn't want to hit Dom. Dom was antagonizing him the whole entire time, and Ray didn't want to fight him. He wasn't gonna lay a hand on him. But then Dom crossed the line when he put his hands on his mother, Ray's wife. And then the story ended up being that. And then they end up actually having a great match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like that meant something. There's nothing there for fucking Escobar. Like you have like you have both stables going back and forth, but then it's like it's the same shit every fucking week. Like there's no substance behind it for it to be a WrestleMania match.
Nah, and I feel like Ray was out too long.
Yeah,
for it to try to even build it up within like what 2-3 weeks before Mania. So I mean they could, but yeah, I don't think it's.
it is just no substance there. It's just at most I think what's gonna happen is gonna be like the groups, like LWO versus like his group. Like I think that's probably what's gonna end up happening. Which is like fine. Like it's like all right, that's what you guys want to do it, I guess, but it's not gonna be one-on-one, especially when you have a lot of one-on-one matches already. You have Rhea versus Becky, you have Cody versus Reigns. You're probably gonna have LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Which that match too is like I'm not really fond of. Like me and Chris were talking about it yesterday. And I was just like, AJ Styles was, he's still one of my favorites, but I was like, but he's at a point where he's in pilot mode. Like he's in cruise control. And he's not that guy anymore. Which is fine. Like he's older already. He's making his money. But I was like, do I really want to see that match? No, I don't. And the LA Knight, he's kind of what's happened with him. You know what I mean? Like you have The Rock back, right? The thing is that you have The Rock back, and then people compared LA Knight to The Rock, and then now you have the actual Rock there. So it was like, nobody's been talking about LA Knight now. Like it happens. I was like, when you go so far with your promos and all this stuff, when I try to ask people what did you love about LA Knight, people can't really respond. Oh, he does this, he does that. And I'm like, okay, but he was doing that before he became LA Knight. So what's different now?
He's in WWE doing it. That's all.
That's all it is. So when people say that, like, oh, LA Knight, oh, this guy is great, he's special. I'm like, he always been doing this shit. Like I was somewhere like last year when somebody brought that up, like, oh, I love this guy, I love LA Knight. So then I was like, really? I was like, were you a fan of him? Like when he was in Impact? Oh no, I didn't even know he was there. Like the fuck? I was like, bro, he was doing that stuff when he was on Impact.
Oh man.
And honestly, he was probably doing it better because he was a heel.
Under no restriction, less restrictions.
Yeah, because when he was a heel, like that dummy stuff was hilarious.
Yeah,
but then also his wrestling is okay. Like he has like that 1980s, 1990s style. of wrestling. So it's okay, but there's nothing that special. It's just funny when people try to use like the whole moonsault shit he does. Like, oh, people say he can't wrestle, but he does this. That don't mean you can't fucking wrestle. It just means you could do a move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hammerstone. I forgot they signed him.
Sheesh. This is an explosion. That might have been pre steroids.
Oh my god. He's that pre. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's always crazy to see some of the guys like before they started going like Brian Cage. Whenever I see like old pictures of him or old videos before his steroids, like, dude, it's crazy.
Oh, like the old, yeah. Brian Cage is one. Like, oh man. Realistically, I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but man.
the proof is in the pudding with that guy.
And I'm not saying that it's impossible without it, but I don't know. Kind of interesting how genetics works with some people.
Yeah.
I wish I could have that.
Talk about being a late bloomer.
But like even with Cage, like I wouldn't want to be that size. Like I would love to be like in great shape, but not like that size. It looks uncomfortable.
Like you gotta get your clothes specially made.
You're still considered like bigger, but it's, I don't know, like it's. We're still, bro. What? He's upset that Alexander's like outsmarting him in his matches. So he's like, "Oh, I take that as a victory that he does that."
It's pretty much saying, well, he has to do more to beat me. So who's really? Have you ever seen movie Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
That fucking dumb movie.
So the one, I forgot the dude's name, but the one he was always getting his ass beat. He's like, "Oh, I'm bleeding, making me the victor." That's what that reminds me of. He's like, "Oh, you kicked my ass so bad that I won." Like, what? What sense does that even make?
Bro, that movie is fucking weird. I remember that shit. That movie is fucking weird.
It was. Like, yeah, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I haven't seen it in a while, but
is that the one where the girl had like the one titty?
Yeah. I gotta see. Oh man, now I gotta watch that. I don't even know what platform they might have that on.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that fucking movie.
That's what made it. Just made me. It just reminded me of that.
I remember that one, and I remember this movie. Damn, what was the other one? It wasn't like it had comedy in it, but it wasn't like that. This movie, Kung Fu Hustle, like I remember that one too.
Yeah.
That was my shit.
No, that's a good movie.
Especially when a guy like gets like fucked up, and then they had like wrapped up, and then all of a sudden he becomes like this big like this kung fu fighter, and then how this dude surrender and shit. Like that was dope.
My man went to a kung fu cocoon, came out of ass kicking butterfly.
Yeah, I remember. Yo, that shit was crazy.
Here, guess who's here? Just celebrate with your birthday. Here, your son. Enjoy.
The Prince of all true heels.
What did you
That was
guys have?
Queen Wendy. Oh, it's commercial. Let me go get a beverage.
Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
This first hour flew by.
It did. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's already 9. I mean, I feel like that always happens with when I'm watching Impact. Shit, oh, that happens with Dynamite too. The only time it felt like it's dragging is when we were watching fucking WWE shit outside of a PLE.
Now some of the PLEs drag sometimes
Yeah, they
because
do.
it drags because it drags sometimes. I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes it drags is because they have less matches and they're trying to cover like 3 or 4 hours of like.
Yeah. Then you
So
get a
sometimes it
fucking
becomes like that should happen with Elimination Chamber. Like with I forgot what match was it. They went from one match and then like they had like the segment and then like so there was about like an hour of the show without wrestling. Like
I
that's
can't deal
crazy to
with that.
me.
Yeah, I can't deal with that.
He had that fucking waste of a fucking segment with Grayson Waller. It was like if you wanted the man in Australia, why didn't you just put him in the fucking match?
It doesn't seem that hard. But
Like,
apparently it is.
but like, it's just what the fuck, sometimes it's like when you do shit like that, it's like, oh my god, like what are you guys doing? You know what I mean?
Well, now we have the digital media champion, Crazy Steve, defending his title against PCO. So, unless Crazy Steve got something wild shit up his sleeve and new. So that's definitely going to happen.
Yo, I give credit to SP3 what he said earlier. Oh my god.
Oh, about that jackass Alfred dude.
Yo, that was like
That's that's the funny thing about all these personalities and entities that talk about AEW or to make their bread and butter off of talking about AEW. Nobody even remembers anything you say about anything. Nobody gives a fuck really about anything you say about anything other outside of bashing this company because they don't do stuff how you want it done or how another company does their stuff.
bro, it's been so confusing. Like this whole like these weird narratives the last few weeks have been so fucking weird when it comes to like what fans are trying to like pick and choose to fucking argue about or try to diminish. Like people have been trying to diminish AEW for so long, especially on the fucking Twitter platform.
Oh yeah.
It's like now they're just looking for fucking anything at this point. And it now like what they were complaining about doesn't even make any fucking sense because it's just like, all right, we get it. You don't like you don't like the product and you don't watch it. So what are you complaining about? Like, what are you giving criticism for? You know what I mean? Like, and like this Alfred dude, like, I'm familiar with his stuff, and I've never really been a fan of his stuff because it just seems like very grifty. What I mean by that is like he's latching on to something that he knows is going to keep him relevant until it doesn't anymore, and he moves to something else.
Trying to be like black Jim Cornette.
Basically. And, you know, the whole AEW stuff is more the fact that he tried to get a job with AEW. He was begging for a job. He begged Tony Khan for a job. He got ignored. So now he feels like by shitting on them is like some kind of win. And it's like, no, it's probably the opposite. Makes you look worse. Not only it makes him look worse, but it's like, does he really care? I don't know if he cares. But then you have like these idiots who actually fall for it. Like they think like what he's saying is like legit. And they're like, oh, you see, yes, truth. You're speaking facts. You're doing this. And it's like, no, he's not speaking facts because all the shit he's saying is just a bunch of bullshit because he's still fucking bleeding from his anus that he ain't get a job from AEW. Like that's all it is. Like he's just upset. And it's okay to say that, hey, you wanted a dream job with a wrestling company, but guess what? You're fucking trash, so nobody gives a fuck about you. Like, so now you have to stay relevant. So you latch on to these pro WWE grifters on Twitter that all they do is shit on AEW. They wake up and they want to shit on the company.
Yeah.
They go to the bathroom, that's all they want to do. They go take a shit, that's all they want to do. They go outside, that's all they want to do. And it's like, all right, like you guys have no fucking lives, but guess what? What keeps them going is getting all the likes, all the retweets that they want. You know, and it's like, all right, cool. Like that's what you want to be known for, by all means, that's fine, but don't get upset when you get called out. You know, so when it comes to that, like, and that's why shit like that, that's why like low key, like it's always been like a very like pet peeve of mine where we do like the stuff like this, right? We do content or we talk about like how we feel about wrestling stuff, right?
Yeah.
And what I try to do is like I try to be as authentic as possible, like try to be true to myself. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. So I try to be like truth, you know, like speaking my mind of things, right? But also having fun. Like sometimes I could go like a little off the rails. I could be honest about that. But I'm gonna hold on to like what I say, or if I have an opinion. If I think somebody sucks, I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna stick to it, right? And I think that's the key point. Like if you feel like how you feel, then that's cool. But then once, but I think there's a difference when you start faking shit just for content. Like when you start faking it,
yeah,
and then
we
you
know all about that.
Yeah, like when you start faking it, and you know you don't watch nothing, but yet you're giving an opinion. about something. It's like, what are you doing at this point? It's like somebody that we know personally. They fucking speak about our Ring of Honor. Oh, what they need to do is like, bro, why the fuck are you even talking about it when you don't watch Ring of Honor? So why do you even give a fuck about talking about it? And I think that's where more so has been like the last 2 weeks with people, is that they're giving bad faith criticism. And the reason why it's considered bad faith is because you're going off about something that you're not watching. So how are you giving direct criticism of something you're not watching? Right? It's like me. I haven't watched the Barbie movie, right? So I can't say if it's good or bad. I can only go by the reaction people are going. So I'm not going to go and based off my opinion, based off something I haven't watched. Like, I haven't watched it. So I can't say it was good or bad. I'm not going to trash it because I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Like, my opinion would mean nothing because I haven't seen it. And that's what I've been seeing a lot with. Like, yesterday, perfect example, when me and Chris was talking about it, because I brought it up to him. Somebody mentions the whole shit about Will Ospreay, right? Ospreay comes in. He's had 2 matches, right? He's had a match with Kosuke Kikeshina and Kyle Fletcher, right? So the argument the guy made was that, that Will Ospreay faced 2 guys that I don't know who they are. That was his argument. Like, that was his argument because he didn't know who they were. Yeah, somebody broke it down. Somebody mentioned it. Somebody was like, Kikeshina has been on fucking in AEW for 2 years.
Yeah, like what?
Right? Not only that, he's been in AEW for 2 years, right? Kyle Fletcher was a fucking former member of United Empire. That was Will Ospreay was the leader with, right?
Exactly.
But not only on top of that, but within AEW, there's a storyline there. Why? Because it had to do with Don Callis family.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay was associated with them. And then while he was coming back, they're like, hey, we have to, like, they did a storyline based off of that. So to say that you don't know who they are, or they just doing, because the guy tried to insinuate that they just doing 2 matches, 2 random matches for Will Ospreay.
Yeah, it's
and he got called out on it. He's like, no, like, they've already mentioned not only this, like what they've done, but they mentioned why they're facing each other and why this is going on. Like, there's a story there, there's a storyline there. The fucking guy goes and says directly, oh, well, I really don't watch AEW.
What the fuck are you giving your opinion for or making these comments?
No, and that's why he got dragged. Yeah, like yesterday he got dragged by mad people because they're like, I think it was more so that he wasn't getting dragged for being stupid. It was more the fact, like, all right, this is shit that we've been talking about for a while. That people are talking shit. People are giving criticism to something they're not watching. I think people kind of just got over it at that point. They're like, this is an example that we're talking about. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, for real, like, you legit just gave a criticism to something you just admitted you don't watch after you got told, no, this is what happened, this is what they're doing, and this is why it made sense. Right now, and then also somebody else tried to make an argument today about, like, they try to criticize AEW for about, like, oh, that people don't know Kikeshina and all this stuff, but it's like, no, AEW has built him enough to know who he is, where he comes from. So at this point, you can't tell me, oh, they haven't done a good job at that. That's bullshit.
Especially after 2 fucking years, you don't know who this guy is. It's like, come on. You know?
Right. And to me, and somebody called him, somebody basically made a good, they're like, oh, just because you don't know him and you're not paying attention, that doesn't sound like a company problem. That just sounds like, you're just not paying attention then. And then somebody else, like, mentioned a comment where, you know, like, it was the same thing. It's like, because somebody was like trying to, like, not defend them. They're like, oh, but why are people coming at him? You know, like, you always have one of those kind of people, right? Why are they defending him? Like, why are they coming at him for? He just made an opinion without paying attention, right? Why people are coming at him, right? So somebody made a good point and they made a good comment. They said, if you can't be bothered to keep up with a wrestling promotion, you shouldn't criticize that wrestling promotion.
No, yeah. Hell yeah. That should be a fucking requirement. Like, if you're not watching, like, I can see if you will genuinely care about the product. But like you said, a lot of people are just bragging on them just for the sake of trying to get likes, clicks, and shit for social media, and they don't even care to watch the project, the content promotion and keep up with the content for it. Like, they don't give a fuck about none of that. They just want to go on social media and say, "Hey, this thing sucks," knowing that there is a plethora of people out there that are going to say, "Yeah, they do suck. You know what? I'm going to like your video. I'm going to subscribe to your channel because you're saying everything that I want to hear." And this shit is not even genuine.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what's been going on. And it's funny because me and this dude had a conversation. Me and Jonathan Escudero, the head of Dirt Sheet Radio. Me and him had a conversation recently because he posted something about it was either something with WWE. Was it WWE? He posted something that I agreed with. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was a post he made. And I responded to it. And I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm trying to find it. Because I was like, yo, like, when he brought it up, I was like, yo, this bullshit right fucking here.
Whenever you remember, I've probably seen it too. Like,
it's a meme. So it's a meme with The Office. So it has like the old guy, like the shaking hand part, like the Steve Carell, he's shaking somebody's hand. So it says AEW fans enjoying AEW. He's like the boss. And then Steve Carell's character, it says WWE fans watching AEW wondering where the 30-minute long promos are.
Yeah, because fucking that's been the thing recently. I mean, it's always been a thing for us WWE fans, but like you said, like recently I've been seeing it a lot more. It's the story. Where's the story? Where's the story?
And it's like, no, the fucking story is there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The story has always been there. The story has always been there. The only thing I would say, and I've been saying this for a long time about AEW, is that what TK needs to do is that he needs to commit to the storylines. That's the thing. Yeah. He needs to commit to storylines, and he needs to commit to stables. Because how many stables have formed and then all of a sudden, like, they drift apart? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not together.
Yeah, so like to me that's a valid criticism. Like, that's a valid criticism because I've noticed that myself. It's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I think that's a good criticism. But this whole aspect of like, oh, well, you need stories. It's like, where did all this shit come from all of a sudden? Because they were doing, remind you, when AEW first started, they had less stories.
Yeah.
They had less stories and nobody complained. But now they have more stories and yet people are complaining that there's no stories. So what the fuck are you talking about? Because and I remember like when me and John kind of had a debate about it. He was bringing up like, oh, that you need to present this or that or trying to be, and I was just like, yeah, but you were there. Remember that was the back and forth when I was just like, yo, but there's a reason why they're the alternative. Yeah. If you just want them to be like WWE, then that defeats the purpose of being an alternative, right? And I'm not saying like that's what they have to do. Like, I think people strong suits, right? And this is how I feel about everything when it comes to wrestling. I think you go work on somebody's strong suits, right? So if somebody's a worker, use them as a worker. If somebody's a talker, use them as a talker. Now, I'm all for people improving on their shit. Like, if they want to improve on something, by all means. And I think they should do that. We've seen it with AEW constantly, right? Yeah. Regardless of what people want to say or not. Toni Storm, for a long time, didn't have a character. Yeah. And then she developed her own character, and that was one of the most over characters in the industry, right? Whether people like it or not, right? Roderick Strong, for a long time, never had a character. Never had a character, right? Never had a character. And then guess what? He fucking developed one, right? And then now, like, when he talks more, he's a leader. He's not the leader, but he's one of the lead people of a stable. And now when you see him talk, it's a different kind of guy. Like, he looks more confident, right? Then you have Claudio Castagnoli, who's never been the strongest talker, but in AEW, he's cleaned up a lot of his talking,
Right.
right? He looks like he's doing stuff that's his strong points when it comes to him talking. So when it comes to like these things where people are trying to use certain narratives, or to me, it's all fucking weird because just like, no, these are things that they're already doing,
Yeah.
right? They're already doing it, or it's people who already have developed, like they've been used better or they've gotten better at it. Like, again, like Tony Storm's gotten better at her character, right? So it's like, how are you complaining about something that's already been there? Like it's working clearly for a lot of people. Now, of course, some of the presentation could be better. Like, and then remember I brought up the whole Jay White MJF thing. Like
Yeah.
people were pissed. People were pissed off because it was too much like WWE. I was like, that's why people were pissed. Now, to me, and I said it, I was like, the match itself, the story didn't bother me. Like how it led to it did not bother me personally. But it pissed off a lot of people because it was a WWE storyline. It was a WWE fucking angle. It was they injure MJF, they put him in the fucking ambulance. He comes back in the ambulance. He wrestles with one leg and then he wins. That's a WWE storyline.
For sure.
That's a WWE angle. And that's why people were pissed. Like, I was like, they tried to do something. And I think that was more MJF's call. Like he had more say in that. And I was like, and that's what they did. Me personally, again, I didn't have a problem with the match. Like I thought it was a good match. And it was overbooked. But
overbooked.
It was overbooked. But it didn't bother me. But that's the shit I'm talking about. I was like, that's why it pissed off people. So now if that's the shit that you want, guess what? You're gonna be pissing off people a lot more. Why? Because it's WWE.
Yeah.
So now, like, even more recently, like today, like Dave talked about like Mercedes, like her promos. Oh, it felt too much like WWE, but it's like it's fucking Mercedes. Like,
what do you
want her to do?
Yeah.
What do you want her to do? Like, she's a good talker. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want her to do? You want her to just wrestle matches and just not do nothing? Because we've seen it with Danielson. Danielson has worked his fucking great matches, and not only great matches, he's been cutting some of the best promos of his career.
Some of the best work, yeah.
So it was like, let's stop cutting the bullshit of like, oh yeah, they're not doing this and they're not doing that. It's like, no, that's bullshit to me. It's bullshit at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and that's all I want. People just to be consistent. And even I could point out the shit with WWE, right? That there's things that they're doing well. There's things that they still need to fix. One of the things I think they need to fix is the Bayley stuff. Bayley won the fucking Royal Rumble, and it just feels like an afterthought.
Oh yeah, honestly, I just forgot to you mentioned it.
You see?
Holy shit!
You see?
Holy shit!
Like, that's one thing I could say. Like, yo, like they really just gave her the win, and then it's like, what else happened after that? Yeah, she split from Damage Control, and I felt like they kind of did it early, but besides that, I mean, that match doesn't feel important. Now, Becky and Rhea, that match feels important, and I love the fact that they did that. I love the fact that he went with that, right? Again, that was the story they went with. Why? Because Becky lost the Royal Rumble. She had to do some adversity because she lost to Nia, and then she won the Chamber. That's a story right there. And then the interactions she had with Rhea were fucking great. Like, I thought those were great. Like the head-to-head so far between the ladies has been great. And I look forward to the match. I think it's going to be a great fucking match. But then you have these fans, and this is where I come to the criticism with the fans. You want WWE to focus on storylines, right? Here you have a story between Becky and Rhea, and majority of fans are bitching, we want Liv. Why is Liv not getting her opportunity? Liv should be thrown in and have a triple threat match. Why? Why are we doing that?
No.
She fucking lost. Like, she lost a Rumble, and then she lost the Chamber. So what are we exactly doing? So now you guys want storylines, but yet when your favorites are not there, all of a sudden it's a problem. Oh, Becky's being pushed. She's being shoved down our throats. And remind you, back in 2019, I couldn't stand Becky, and that's more because of the fans. The whole man shit that was going on, I couldn't stand it.
Man.
But now Becky Lynch has been doing great shit ever since she came back, having a baby. She's been doing some great work. And especially in the ring, yo, she's gotten so much better in the ring. So that's why I'm excited for Rhea and Becky. That's all I need. I don't fucking need Liv to be added in the fucking match.
Yeah, they better. Well, I don't think they're doing it anyway, but yeah, they fucking better not.
Yeah, but Zach, but that's what I mean. Like, you see, like the shit I'm talking about, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
Why do I need that? Why do I need that?
Well, yeah, especially in the comp city. So that's one thing to keep my wrestling sanity, so to speak. I've stayed out of the comment section on social media, but like every now and then I'll check it and see what the fuck people are talking about. And it's like, oh, Becky's so boring. She's overrated. We wanted Liv. We want Liv. We wanted Liv. And I'm just like, whoa, why? No, nothing against Liv Morgan, but I'm like, it's
exactly. And that's how I feel about Liv. Like Liv, like I said yesterday, I told Chris, I was like, yo, she's like the sixth man off the bench.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking about like the starting lineup, she's like the sixth man. I was just like, yo, she's probably like the sixth or seventh man off the bench.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, yeah, she's improved, but nothing to the point that it's like, oh, I want her to main event or WrestleMania. No, I don't want that shit. Even though nobody
want it. Yeah, they don't want it for her wrestling skills.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, regardless, nobody's getting put over The Rock when it comes to main event. So,
no.
And rightfully so. But that's another thing, right? So you have that example, and then you have the current example with Sami Zayn. That Sami Zayn, before he took his time off, he was dealing with adversity too. He was losing his matches. He was lost, right? After character, he was like, he has to figure shit out. He comes back for the Rumble, and then they've been pushing like this title match with him and Walter. I said, well, I'll say Walter. They've been pushing this match, right? They've been pushing the IC title match, right? But then all of a sudden, this whole thing with Chad Gable happens.
Yeah, man.
And then he beats Chad Gable, and then people are like, oh, it should have been Chad. This is the one that we wanted. I was like, no, like, there's already a story there when it comes to Sammy and Gunther. That's why, to me, it made the most sense. The problem with Chad Gable has nothing to do with Chad Gable himself, because I think he's a great athlete, and I think he has a lot of charisma, right? He's just never been utilized the way I think he should be. But he had those two great matches with Gunther, right? He had those two great matches. With Gunther, but then he got ice cold after the second match. And I think that's what hurt him. He got ice cold.
They like held
to the point that now when he tried to reheat it, it was like, no, it's too late at that point because you already had the Sammy stuff going on. So by that time, it was already late. But now, again, you want stories invested. You're getting them. But yeah, it's, oh, no, this person needs to be thrown in a match. Oh, it needs to be a triple threat match, right? Now, the angle they're going, it could still possibly happen, which is fine. But it's just the whole aspect of what I've been talking about. Like, fans, they get what they want, but then it's like, it's still not good enough. And then
that match is gonna have fucking Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, Hulk Hogan come saving the day vibes and shit.
That was the whole thing that happened with The Rock.
Yeah.
With The Rock, but that's how what happened with The Rock. Like, that's what happened. The Rock inserted himself in that main event with Roman Reigns. That's what happened. That was a Hogan and Bret Hart situation. And that even that alone, that was another issue that WWE, at least now, they pivoted, and it's been great for them because I've loved the stuff The Rock has been doing, even though he's a fucking dick bothering Pharaoh. I don't appreciate that shit, but that's great shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's great stuff that they're doing. That's great stuff that they're doing. But when it comes to all of this, like, even when it happened, right? The reason why that backlash happened is because Cody won the fucking Royal Rumble. And then all of a sudden you had Cody Rhodes hand his main event over. That's why people were pissed. Yeah. Because it's like, all right, you just invested in something. Because my thing wasn't about, I know people bring up like, oh, Cody needs to finish his story and all this stuff, right? My thing has never been about the story with Cody Rhodes. It was more of, okay, give me something that makes fucking sense. So if Cody would have lost the Royal Rumble, I would have been fine with that because I didn't have him winning the Royal Rumble. I had CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble. See, look, I got the shirt. You see, that's proof right there. I'm just saying. But I had CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble. But then when I was watching the match, I was like, oh, this crowd sound like they don't want Punk to win. And then Cody Rhodes won, and it was an exciting feeling because it was like, holy shit, I didn't expect him to win. I was like, I didn't expect Cody Rhodes to win. So you have people reinvested of Cody versus Roman, and then you try to pull that bullshit off.
Yeah, they did too much.
So then you have people like on social media. I know one of them, Chris Van Vliet, which I respect his work and I like what he does, but he went off the deep end where he says, oh, it's so crazy that people don't want to see a Rock match. Like, people really don't want to see The Rock. And I was like, no, bro, it's not the people didn't want to see The Rock. It's the way it fucking happened. That was the problem. Because if he would have won the Royal Rumble, I would have been fine with it. Like, if he would have joined in, I would have been fine with it. But that didn't happen. So it was like, what the fuck?
You already got us so invested in this already, and now you're going to give us a curveball for the sake of a curveball.
It's like, fuck that.
So, Liv can have her match with Rhea Backlash or SummerSlam, and I'm being nice saying SummerSlam, like The Rock said, fuck her story. Thank you, Will Chisholm, for the $5.
I mean, to be honest, she don't have a fucking story because all she's been doing is lose, and then they don't know what they want to do with her. She's a face or heel. She's trying to be edgy, and it's like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out too.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there. Like there's nothing there. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But then going back to the Rock stuff, I mean, that's what happened. And, and thankfully the Rock, they pivot. I think the Rock realizes he can't do what he wanted to do, and it makes him look good. It cleans up his image, makes him look good. And then I'm fine with the tag match, because I really didn't want to see a Rock singles match as much as people want to see it. I don't want to see a singles match, and I want to see what he could still do because he's 51 years old. And I know there's people who are gonna say, "Hey, Adam Copeland is 50 and he just won the title," but he's been active.
Yeah, very much active. I don't think there really could be a comparison
he's been active, regard. And Dwayne hasn't been active in the ring. It's different. Movie stuff, being on the movie set, being in ring ready is so different. And Stone Cold has a little, he's spoken about that. Like Stone Cold, like he was like, when he gets ready for movies compared to ring work, he's like, it's a different animal. He was like, with ring stuff, he has to get ready within like 6 months. Like if he's gonna even like decide to have a match, and he's like, that's too long. Like it's to build up your endurance and to get ready for a match. He's like, it takes a long time. He was like, he can't do it. That's why he had that one-off, which was great. Yeah. Kevin Owens stuff. They did offer him. He was Plan B last year.
They're gonna try to do it. They're try to do it again.
He was Plan B, and Stone Cold was smart enough to know, like, no, this wouldn't make any sense. I don't want a title match, and I can't work. Like, he was smart enough to know that. So that's why it's gonna be interesting to see what The Rock does. Yeah. And I think, again, a tag match could cover up some of his flaws, because we all know The Rock's endurance has been really bad.
Which, that's how we feel about this match anyway. That Roman, which is funny, Roman's probably gonna be doing most of the work, which usually in his tag matches, the other guy's doing most of the work. He comes in and just cleans house, and then gets the win.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting what happens. Like it's gonna be interesting. I think The Rock and Roman win. I think they end up winning.
You think so?
Yeah. Just because of the stipulation.
Yeah, definitely a stipulation had something to do. Yeah.
You're not gonna throw out the whole bloodline rules thing, and for that not to happen. Why? Because that also builds up another layer of adversity that Cody will have to still deal with.
Right. That's true.
So I think that's why it's gonna happen. Now, 1-on-1, I'll be fine with that, but I think the whole bloodline stuff is like the bloodline rules stuff. I think it's gonna end up happening, just because like if there's gonna be a climax off the feud, and Cody does get his win back, you have to make it dramatic.
Yeah, with everything, all like you said, all the adversity to overcome it for him to finally get that win. So yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna happen. Like, but I mean, it's fine. The Rock gets a win. The Rock fans will be happy about that. It was funny because when we were in North Carolina and they were bringing up the whole Cody Crybaby stuff, I said straight up, hey, once that shit was announced that it was going to be Roman versus Cody for WrestleMania, I didn't give a fuck. I got what I wanted, so fuck y'all.
Yeah, can't be upset at that. Definitely getting what you wanted. But then I feel like I'm not gonna say dragging it. That's definitely not the term I wanted to use, but I feel like with all the injuries going into Mania, CM Punk, Seth not being at 100%, they definitely had to they had to change a lot of shit too, because that was the match I was looking forward to. Like you said, Punk winning the Rumble, him challenging Seth. That would have closed out night one. I don't feel like we probably wouldn't even would have got The Rock.
I think what would have happened, I think Punk was going to win the Chamber, because Punk was scheduled to be in to wrestle in an Elimination Chamber, and I think it was going to be a Chamber match.
Yeah.
But then he got injured again. Fragile
Right.
Phil got injured again, unfortunately. Like, bro, he's had 3 major injuries in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
2-3 years? Like, oh my god, he's breaking down fast.
And of course, everybody, instead of saying, "Hey, maybe it's because you're, a little up there in age." Oh no! Like, oh, it's all the injuries from every people get injured in AEW or post AEW. It's AEW's fault. It has nothing to do with WWE. That's what I see with the.
No, but the whole thing that happened with the Rumble was, it was a freak accident.
Yeah.
It was on the DDT. When Drew landed, Punk's arm, his arm landed straight. His front arm landed straight on the mat, so he fucked up his tricep. Again, it's unfortunate. But did I feel that bad? Not really.
You're like, nah, because I got what I wanted.
Not even for that. Not even for that, to be honest with you. I just didn't. All the stuff that Punk has put a lot of people through the past year or two is like,
yeah, it's karma.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's karma. I'm just saying, I think somebody wanted to teach him a lesson. That's all I'm saying. And the whole thing with CM Punk returning, it was just, I don't know. It was a little weird to me because, again, I'm always going to be a CM Punk fan. So I have nothing against CM Punk. I've always been a fan of his work, and I think he could still do great things in the business. I just think that he needs to be less angry about shit.
Yeah.
He needs to be less angry. And I think when the whole thing happened, when he returned, I just think, I don't know, it was so weird because I was just like, people just need to be honest with themselves. And what I mean by that is guys, let's stop acting like CM Punk wanted to come back to WWE, truly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
whole
stop
move's out of spite.
Yeah, I was and that's where I was more coming from. It's just can we stop the bullshit? Oh my god, I love, he's back, that's shut the fuck up. Man was wrestling 4 months ago. Let's stop acting like he was gone forever. That shit happened with the clip with in the garden when he wrestled Dom. And he chanted, "You still got it."
Motherfuckers like he was just like, I was already wrestling.
Motherfuckers is like, yo, he was just wrestling 4 months ago. The fuck?
Yeah. And he would probably still be there if he didn't get fired. So another Will Chisholm super chat. How many times Gunther Mania match changed? We thought it was him versus Seth title for title, but Punk came back. Then it was Brock versus Gunther. Sammy was the third choice.
Nah, I don't think.
So
I don't think the whole Seth versus Gunther title for title thing was. I don't think that was a real thing. I think they kind of teased it. They kind of like teased something because they had like a face-to-face promo or something.
Yeah.
But that was never in the works. That was never in the plans. Once Punk got involved, it was all right. We're Punk and Seth is gonna main event night one. When it comes to Gunther, I think the main opponent was gonna be Brock, but I don't want to confirm that yet. Or I think that was one of the top choices. Yeah. The only reason why I'm saying that is because Brock has never gone after the IC title, and I didn't see him going after the title at this point. That's just how I feel about that.
Until Vince Gate happened again.
Yep. And but I think that was like a possible, like that was more possible than the whole title versus title thing. The Brock Gunther thing was more accurate than the whole Seth Gunther title for title thing. That's what I'm more getting at. Like that's more accurate. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, Sammy was the third choice. It happens. It could still be a fun matchup because like even if you build up the adversity within that match, I think it'd be something fun to watch. And if Sammy kind of turns the page back to like his NXT days, that could be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Did I really want to see Brock versus Gunther? To be honest with you, not really. I haven't mind Brock, but I'm not crazy about Brock at this point. And it has nothing to do with the whole lawsuit thing. I've been like that. I've felt like that about Brock for years. Like he's cool, and I understand like his draw power. That's never been an issue for me. It's just we know at this point what Brock brings, and he's not going to bring a real wrestling match. He's going to do his German suplexes. He's going to do his F5s. He literally does 2 moves and then call it a day. That's all it is with Brock.
Especially that's what a guy like Gunther fucking who puts on a clinic damn near every time he's in the ring. So yeah, that stifles his
and it could still be a good because Brock has worked well with smaller when he had that Daniel Bryan match and AJ Styles matches, those were good matches. But when it comes to Brock himself, he just does less work for more money. And good for him. I mean, that's what he was doing. I'm like, hey, he put in the work to do that. I'm not hating on that. It's just I know what I'm getting when it comes to Brock Lesnar, right? So, so I mean, even so, like the whole thing about like Brock was supposed to come back here, there, I was like, it didn't matter to me because I was like, I don't think he's that much of that importance like he was once back then. Like you don't need a Brock Lesnar in WWE, in my opinion. And then now this whole lawsuit thing came about. Now I was like, all right, we definitely don't need you now. And I think they've shown enough. They've done enough with their roster that they don't need a Brock Lesnar. You don't need to pay the guy $10 million to show up to do less work. Save money, right? You save money. You can build up off your roster. You don't need a Brock Lesnar. So that whole thing about like when Punk got injured and we need to do something big for The Rock. Have him. It was like they use that. Punk got injured. Brock is on the card. I was like, bro, I don't give a fuck about Brock. You don't need Brock.
Yeah.
Like you don't need Brock Lesnar. But I know people. Again, I know people wanted to see that match. Again, I didn't care for it. So if it happened, cool. If it didn't happen, cool. It's not going to happen, so that's cool. So that's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Something I didn't really need.
No, I agree. It could have been something, but like you said, you don't need Brock. Like you said, he draws, but like it's Mania. Mania, the show itself is the draw. So tickets
Yeah,
go
you're
on
not. And then
sale
Brock,
without.
you're not doing nothing significant with Brock anymore. Like he's not
Yeah,
going after the titles. Like you gonna put him against Roman again? I don't want to see that shit again.
no, fuck no.
That shit was becoming very
Oh,
Cena versus Orton. Like that's what that was becoming. Like I don't want to see it again.
yeah, I'm definitely over that. That. Oh
You
man.
got another super chat from Wilchism. Brock versus Gunther is good in fans' minds. Now, if it's 03 Brock, now we're cool. Yeah, which I agree with. Like if we're talking about Brock Lesnar back then, yes. But Brock Lesnar now is like
Yeah,
we're
it's
getting
not
a guy
that.
again. We're getting a guy who's doing two moves.
It's definitely not that. Not now.
It's like two moves, cool, I guess, right? But I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that anymore.
So they're cool, I guess. Nah, yeah, it's and like you said, for a guy like Gunther who can wrestle anybody, any style, like, and we all well for like you said, for guys smaller, Brock works well for them. He'll bump for them, whatever the case may be. I don't see that happening the same with Gunther.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but
also,
Brock could potentially like the guy and want to work for him, but
you know what's funny? I was about to say that
yeah,
because the other issue with Brock is that if Brock doesn't like you, things are not going to go well.
yeah.
You saw that firsthand with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's exactly the example I was gonna use.
He did not want to work with Dean Ambrose, and you saw what happened within that match. Why he didn't want, why they didn't go well. You know, kudos to Moxley. He wanted to work with him. He tried everything. Brock didn't want to hear shit. It happens. The whole thing with Jinder Mahal. It was supposed to be Mahal versus Brock at Survivor Series when they were still doing the brand supremacy.
Yeah.
But Brock didn't want to work. Brock didn't want to work with. He didn't want to work with Jinder. So what did they do? They took the belt off of him 2 weeks before, a week or two before Survivor Series, and they put it on AJ Styles. That's what happened.
It's crazy. This was on that was a house show, right? That was a house show, I believe.
No, it was TV. It was SmackDown.
Oh, TV, yeah. And when's the last time? That's how bad it was. When the last time they fucking did not even a title change, a world title change on television?
Big E.
Crazy.
When he cashed in.
And that's a rare occurrence.
Well, not only that, but the way they did it too was like he teased it during the day. They tried to make it a thing, and they only did it because it was Monday Night Football was returning. So they tried to. So they had.
Yeah.
So they did hot shot booking, ruined Big E, made him world champion, made him one of the most lackluster champions in their history, unfortunately. You know, and then unfortunately, a couple of months later, he broke his neck. Like, and to me, I do feel like if that shit didn't happen, like if he wasn't champion, that wouldn't have happened.
Nah.
Like if he would have still had the briefcase, because they would have to do something else. Unfortunately, he worked with the wrong guy, and the wrong guy just didn't. You know, which is not his fault. I'm not saying it's Rich Holland's fault, but you know he's inexperienced. Like he's, you know, it's unfortunate what happened, and we haven't seen Big E since. But that's part of it too. Like he did the cash in. that also kind of like, even the whole Bobby Lashley thing, like that was a decent run, but then you had him lose like that, and then he ends up getting the belt back. Like a while later, he gets the belt back, but then it's like at that point, it was like whatever.
Yeah. It's like the damage has been done. What's the point?
That's exactly how it felt. Oh look, Romeo's friend.
Yeah, Romeo's good friend, Jordynne Grace, defending her Knockouts Women's Championship against Tasha Steels, a former Knockouts Women's World Champion.
I saw they're selling mugshot shirts of her.
Of who? Tasha Steels?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
on TNA TNA shop.
I mean, those are always nice collector's items. But I don't think she'll ever actually get actually locked up.
But no. It was still kind of crazy. Remember, you saw Jordynne Grace at the Royal Rumble. That was still nuts.
Yeah. Which is, it was wild. And then, like, everybody's flipping out. I didn't say flipping out, but like losing their minds, which she looked great. You know, Anthem better be on their P's and Q's because with all the bullshit they pull with getting rid of Scott, they might lose a lot of people.
Yeah, who knows what they're doing, unless they're trying to save face or whatever the case may be. But and that's why to me it's like, oh, what's gonna happen now? Like, are TNA people not gonna show up on WWE programming anymore? Because he was a factor to that, to Grace showing up. Like he was a factor to that. So that's gonna be interesting. He said, I vote for Tasha Steels, so you know that means Tasha's losing.
Yeah, I don't. If you really thought that, you know, much as I love Tasha Steels, she ain't beating Jordynne Grace. Now she's Jordynne Grace carrying the Knockouts division on her back, and that's not a slight to any of the other Knockouts, but she's definitely the face, and will be the face.
You know, so she looks so fucking different now. When I first met her, I was like, "Oh, who's this?" And you can see she was kind of like a powerhouse, you know.
Yeah.
And then now she looks like a fucking same thing. She looks like a superhero.
Yeah, and like you said, that look, she has the look, so that's already a star making characteristic. You know, girl's got to look the part.
Yeah, I think she'll end up in WWE.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Unless it ends up being like the same thing. It's the Camille situation where Camille looked like she was going to NXT, and then all of a sudden, they stopped talking. She had one foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they stopped talking. And then she started showing up at AEW. So
then everybody potentially the light their then is just like, oh, you're going to AEW. We never wanted you anyway.
or like the whole saga with Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
That was the best. Oh, that was, man. That was like one of the best arcs I saw on Twitter when it came to SRS, Sean Ross Sapp. By far, one of the best arcs was him and these grifters, these WWE, pro WWE fans versus SRS. That was like by far one of the best feuds I've seen in 2024 because he was confident. He reported what he reported, Mercedes is heading to AEW. People got in their feelings. No, don't believe him. All he does is lie. He's not good at his job. Take this with a grain of salt, right? And he was confident with himself. Why? Because there's information. Again, there's information that he knew about. And then he was sworn to secrecy, not to tell anybody. But it's a way that you word your stuff. And he said she was heading to AEW, and he stood by it. The reason why he stood by it, it's because he knew she signed with AEW back in January. So when he reported it, Mercedes was legit signed, and he was told, him and Andrew Zarian, they were told not to report that information yet, and they waited. They waited patiently, and that's what happened. That's how they knew about it. That's how they knew about it. And Andrew Zarian he's not a journalist. He's like a content creator, and he talks about wrestling and stuff, but he has major sources within, I believe, Warner Brothers and with AEW. Like, he has major sources. So when he reports something, it's big. Like, he reported the Will Ospreay thing. Like, yeah, Will Ospreay's gonna be the big signing. Like, he was the one that reported that, and it ended up being Will Ospreay. Like, he's good at his job, and they both are. And I gave him a lot of credit. Like, when I saw him in North Carolina, I told him I was a big fan of his work, and I was a big fan of his clapbacks on Twitter. I legit told him that. You gave me an XSP3. I legit told him that. Because, when that shit happened, when Mercedes didn't show up at the Rumble, that's where it really began. Like, he was trolling people. He was bringing up receipts. Motherfuckers started blocking him when he brought them up, and then it just got worse last week. Once she sold up, oh my god, he couldn't stop. He did a Photoshop.
I would do the same shit. I don't blame him.
He did a Photoshop of himself. Remember the person from The Last Dance, the security that beat Jordan.
Yeah, with the shrugging the shoulders.
Yeah, he's like this. He did a Photoshop of that. And then he did one that I forgot to post earlier. That shit had me dying. It was about the Okada news, because Sean Ross Sapp was the same one that reported that Okada was heading to AEW, and somebody tried to shit on him. So I took a screenshot of it, right? So it was like the breaking news: Kazuchika Okada headed to AEW via FightfulSelect.com. Somebody writes, This is per Sean Ross. This means nothing. So he legit tried to discredit him already. So yesterday he found the tweet, and he responded to the dude, quote unquote, "Sup, you big stupid bitch."
And dude probably didn't say nothing back.
Oh, he didn't. And then on top of that, how you when you quote the tweet, he quoted the tweet. Not only he quoted the guy's thing that it means nothing, he posted this as a Photoshop.
Bob Sapp Ross.
That shit had me dying. I was like, that man, God bless that man.
Thank you, Will Chisholm, for the back-to-back. Let me read the first one first. It's still weird that WWE doing something with Bloodsport. We know WWE already know when her TNA deal is done. Yeah, well, the Bloodsport thing, it did shock me, but with their attempt at the Bloodsport with Raw Underground so many years ago, I can see it. And it chose the perfect person, because Shayna has a relationship with Josh Barnett. So again,
yes. So I was actually gonna alliterate to that. So Shayna has a good relationship with Josh Barnett, but Triple H also has a great relationship with Josh Barnett. So that's how the deal actually happened. It was they're very close with each other. Apparently, like they're good friends. Like they're very associated with each other, and they made it happen. And you got the right person for it, Shane. You got the right person for it. So it's a good thing. And I said it myself. I was like, if you're not using WWE's not using talent, I think this is the best way to utilize the talent.
I was gonna say that. No, seriously, because people, you're sitting and catering, not doing nothing.
But you're showing up as a fucking WWE talent to these indie shows. That's good publicity. That's that's bringing more awareness to your brand. And again, this is shit that WWE never does. It's like, holy shit, like this is legit a new WWE. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So it's good all around. I like the move. It's gonna be interesting to see who else they start using. They should do up the NXT people. I think they will benefit from that as well.
Yeah.
Some of the NXT talent, they definitely should start doing that with them. If they could get like these small indie bookings, I think that'd be great for them. But yeah, that's how the thing happened, which is still a little surprising, like when it comes down to it, because when it comes down to it, Daniel White and Josh Barnett actually hate each other. And everybody already knows, TKO, UFC, WWE. Dana White and Josh Barnett don't have a great relationship. But I mean, Dana White doesn't have a great relationship without a former
MMA. A lot of people we don't.
Some of the biggest legends in the industry, he has, like him and Randy Couture are not on good terms. Him and Tito Ortiz are not on good terms, even though his situation is a little bit more different because that used to be his former manager. Dana White used to be Tito's manager. So there's like a different layer of personal shit between them. So Dana White not liking Josh Barnett is nothing new. I mean, it's nothing surprising.
Yeah.
But for this to happen, it's still a little surprising just because it's still like, if Dana White wanted to say something, then they could shut that shit down. But
right.
I think it's good, man. Like I said, I think it's a good thing. Like
they use the talent. It's a good business. It's a good business decision.
Might as well, right? You're not using Shayna for Mania. Might as well use it for something. And I think this is they start doing shit like this more. Not do it all the time, but do it like when it means something. But then also WrestleMania week, all these indie shows are going to be in fucking Philly, right? So WWE for so long have tried for years to try to get rid of it, and it doesn't work. So might as well work with them, like this, and this is the best way to do it.
If you can't beat them, so to speak, which we already know that they can, but in this instance, is like you got the bottle of Raid and you're trying to spray the roaches.
Don't work.
The roaches just say, "Fuck it." They
get stronger. They turn like some steroid. It's like steroids to them at this point. Oh, he did. What is it? He also sent a super chat. I want to read it. The second one. It does feel like Dave's still trying to bring up drama in AEW. If it's not Punk, it's Mercedes. He has no. Yeah, and we've been mentioning that too on the podcast with Dave. It's like he's always trying to find something. He'll write something positive and then all of a sudden find something negative.
Which is funny because people were like going to bat for him, far as going to like, oh, they or not. I wouldn't say going to bat, but they're like, oh, Dave's in AEW's in his pocket, or he probably, all he does is just promote for them, blah blah blah. But then like when you say all the negative stuff, they don't say shit. So
yeah, he's been doing that shit for a while. I don't understand. Like he's giving more his opinions and shit on things, but like the whole Mercedes thing, I know like he mentioned like the whole thing about. They mentioned the whole thing about like, oh, Talon was upset about her interview because she said that someday she'll go back to WWE and all this stuff. And realistically, I don't think she said anything wrong. It's like she was honest. At least she was honest with. She got asked a question and she was honest about it. But then also, what people got to look at, she wasn't in the locker room yet with
right.
AEW. And like I said, people change their minds all the time. The biggest person who changed their mind was Cody Rhodes. No, AEW is my home. I'm here for life. And then he went back to WWE. and he has his reasons why he back to WWE, and I respect the man, and I still love him, man. Like I love Cody Rhodes. Like I've been following him for all these years, and just finally see like the respect he's getting, man. I love it. But he went back, you know, and there's no, I didn't see it as a problem. Like, yeah, he said something. People change their minds all the time. Situations change, situations happen, right? We're like that at one point. Like, hey, I love this job. I want to stay at this job forever. And then, hey, this person got fired, and management is being changed, and the company got sold. Now it's being run by somebody else. All right, I think it's my time to go. It happens all the time. Like people change their minds all the time. So I think with her, again, I don't think she said anything wrong. Like she said her piece, I think. And you know, if she has fun in AEW, who knows? She could end up staying in AEW.
Which there's always possibility, but I feel like there's, like you said, just it's for her situation, in my opinion. Because I said, like, when that was brought up in like one of my wrestling groups, and like the guy tried to make, well, one of the guys that posted it was trying to make it into a thing, and then like the people in the comments were just like okay, like in other news, water is wet. Like you're not saying anything that, you know, it might be outlandish, you know, to you because you're trying to troll and start a discourse, but we know that like that's where she's from. You know, she's a WWE made superstar. That's how the rest of the world knows her. But like, you know, once fences are mended, because everybody knows it comes down to fucking Vince McMahon. Everybody that either has left, majority of the people that have left WWE, their issues were with Vince. You know, so now that it's a different regime, it's possible that they got Punk back, regardless of, you know, however the situation played out. You know, he went back, but it's always going to be an opportunity. And like even when Vince was there, we've seen many people that left the company before
and
that had issues with him, and they came back. So it's just like, you know, it's never outside of the realm of possibility, but it's just like some people just, they only see what's in front of them. They don't see the bigger picture. They're just like, oh, she said she's gonna go back to WWE one day, and Laura's just like, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think it has to do with Mercedes herself, just because she has this reputation of like, oh, she's not great with fans, she's not this or that, like she always wants her way and all this stuff. I was like, when it comes to the whole fans thing, I mean, a lot of fans are pieces of shit. Like, let's be real. Yeah. Who the fuck wants to be stalked at their fucking airport, right? Who wants to deal with shit like that? But I think that's part of the reputation that she has. And, you know, I've seen her great with fans. Like, again, when I met her, I had one of the best experience meeting her. And she was even great with Wendy because she saw Wendy was a Sailor Moon fan. And that was a good connection. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was more so because it's Mercedes. And again, I don't think she said anything wrong. And she ended up changing her mind. So that's why I'll leave it with that.
And then we got one more before we get out of here. Cody was braced. He came back to WWE when Vince was booking and losing his mind. Well, Cody was fine when he got back, though. You know, well, last year, the only thing that fucked up was Mania, him not winning at Mania, the way that they presented everything. So when he first came back, you know, he had the match against Seth, beat Seth 3 times, gets injured. You know, you can only do so much when you get injured. You know, he's out for a while, came back, won the Royal Rumble. I think they might have fucked it up when he didn't win the Royal. Well, when at Mania.
I think I think that was the right move.
Well, I was gonna say, like, then the redemption story on top of that.
Yeah, I think it was the right move too, because I think him winning the title in that fashion would have been too soon. Because again, he was out for 9 months and then he came back, won the Rumble. I think it wouldn't have meant much like it is like it does now. Right. So I think on hindsight, I think it was the right move. But then also, I felt more comfortable once they said, "Oh, the plan was for him not to win the title." I think I got more comfortable after that, at least. Like if he would have won it, I would have been, of course, I would have loved it. I would have marked out. It would have been a great moment. But I think hindsight, I think this is probably bigger. And I think that's why I think he's going to end up winning.
It's
Because
definitely bigger. Yeah,
I don't think you could put him in a situation where he loses again. I don't think the problem is that if he loses again, I don't think he comes back from it.
No.
There's nothing you can do.
That's done for them to do that though, but we've seen far worse.
No, we've seen far worse, but it's just more the fact like you had him wrestle 2 manias in a row and then you're gonna have him lose twice. It's not gonna mean anything by the time he wins it. So I think that this is the way that they gotta go about it now. Now, how they're gonna book him when he becomes world champion, that's another story. Like we don't know yet, so I can't say it was gonna be good or bad.
But we will be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Total Nonstop Blunts. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit the bell to stay notified from whenever we go live. Like this Saturday will it be at the regular time on Saturday?
Yeah, 11:05.
11:05 for the flagship show, the True Hill Heat podcast. Also, once again, if you haven't already, give a birthday shout out to the birthday boy, the Tru Draw Josh, and let the people know what you got going on and where they can follow you at on social media. Good brother.
You can follow me at jmpunk321, Twitter and Instagram. Like you said, I'll be on Saturday for True Hill Heat episode, I believe 269. I'll be on for that with SB3 and Miss Chrissy Love if she's not on her Roman Reigns schedule. So I'll be back for that. I do have 2 shows coming up, 2 art shows, one in May and one in June. So I'm gonna be doing some new artwork for it. One piece I will say, because people have been asking me, oh, what are you gonna plan to do? Yes, I will be doing something Deadpool related. Nice. I have something already, I want to say lined up, but there's a reference that I saw that I love, and I'm going to do that one. So once I get it on the works, I'm going to show everybody, and I think everybody's going to be hype about it.
Well, I'll definitely be on the lookout because I'm ready for that movie to come out. Huge Deadpool fan, or huge Marvel fan, but definitely a huge Deadpool fan. And you guys can follow me at skinny__Kravitz. That's on X and on Instagram. I'll be back next week I'm gonna try to get on for Elite Heat. I was working last night. Figured I'd take a week off, but I want to be back. That's one of my favorite days of the week. Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then Thursday, we'll be back next week for Total Nonstop Blunts, episode number 8. Maybe the return of Chris G with Mary Jane. Who knows? But if not, I will be here. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Will Chisholm, for putting my children through college. And it will be greatly appreciated. See you guys next week.